In a world with increasing inequality, billionaires are finding themselves less and less popular. Their solution? Build bunkers in places like New Zealand in anticipation of the forthcoming reckoning. In Billionaire Bunker, one player takes the role as the billionaire, trying to safeguard their way of life from the evils of redistribution. The other player assumes the role of the civilians, who will be using the billionaire's leftovers to try and increase their ranks, smuggle into the bunker, and build a giant guillotine. In the endgame, the civilians will storm the billionaire's map and try and reach the greedy jerk before they're picked off one by one. How well has the billionaire prepared, and how strong is the civilian uprising? Each round, the billionaire rolls 3 dice and keeps 2, while giving the leftover dice to the civilians. On their turns, the billionaire and civilians use the values of the dice to complete their actions. The civilians can use their dice every turn to rally for support and build a guillotine. The billionaire can use their 2 dice to do 2 actions. These actions can include building walls, installing barbed wire, cutting down trees, and spreading propaganda. A bunker is a practical way for a billionaire to increase their survival rate against an angry mob, and every good bunker needs sturdy walls. The billionaire can build segments of walls with the numbers they get from their dice rolls. Build 5 segments in a row, then you have a wall. Arrange 4 walls to enclose an area, and you have yourself a bunker. Unfortunately, unfinished bunkers are a bad investment and would be useless when the action starts. You can even use your dice numbers to add barbed wire for extra protection. Trees are important to both players' strategies. The billionaire can use their dice to clear trees on the land for the construction of walls, and prevent the civilians from using the wood for their murderous machinations. Civilians will use the dice number they are given each round to build a guillotine. As they make progress, they need to claim the wood from 6 trees and the metal from 4 scrap piles to complete the construction of their instrument of the revolution. Civilians can also use the number on their dice to rally people to their cause. Successful rallies over time will unlock bonuses to the civilians' preparations, such as increased numbers, adjusting the dice given to you in your favor, and extra materials for your guillotine. Billionaires can invest their dice numbers to use their media influence and spread propaganda. Successful propaganda campaigns will help the billionaire later as they defend themselves against the angry mob in the endgame. Over the course of the game, the civilians will have opportunities to smuggle onto the cargo trucks of the billionaire to gain an advantage in the endgame. In response, the billionaire can inspect the trucks to reduce the amount of people the civilians will have for their attack. However, checking cargo trucks is risky because a bluff from the civilians would result in the loss of the billionaire's next turn. At the end of 20 rounds, the preparations are over, and the endgame clash begins. Both players switch to the endgame phase where they get new actions and 2 dice each. Civilians get to use 2 dice to move in on the billionaire's location. If the billionaire is holed up in the bunker, then the civilians will have to use their dice to scale the walls and clear barbed wire. If they can successfully reach the billionaire, the civilians can attack, and completing the guillotine will make this easier. Should the civilians finish off the billionaire before the defenses wipe them out, the civilians win the game. While the civilians try to breach the defenses, the billionaire will use their dice rolls to crowd control with their defense turrets. Propaganda icons achieved will make targeting more accurate. The billionaire can use their dice to change the laws in their favor too, giving them an extra dice and increasing the targeting area. The billionaire will claim victory if all civilian lives are eliminated. So which will prevail? The power of money or the might of many? Billionaire Bunker by I'm Not Shouting,